has made and left footprints in the sand that have changed the wine industry in California. But my focus is on one county on the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo County. And this particular film was fascinating to me because there are 18 winemakers in San Luis Obispo County, and that is the largest group in the United States. They're all using clay vessels based on ancient Georgian winery making, and they are clay vessels called amphora. And each one of them has chosen to do that because the microclimate of the Central Coast is varied, and we have at least 31 in our county. And therefore, the same grape in 31 different places is going to taste different if you do it and ferment it and age it in an amphora. So this is a wonderful journey of the 7 winemakers you'll see in the film, who are full of life and have made such a difference in our county, and I hope for all of you. And this is a model where we're doing wine history, hopefully that we'll have in all 52 counties in California. Ours is the first, and there are other counties we're just starting to draft the plans so that they too can honor winemakers who have really made a difference and who your grandchildren will hear about. So thank you very much.
Nice to meet you all. And I actually made a film about 6 very inspiring women in Australia. There's a winery in Australia called Brown Brothers Winery. They're, I think, the second oldest, still to this day, family-owned winery. And for the longest time, being called Brown Brothers, they were established by brothers, and they were run by men for 3 generations. And when I stumbled across the winery, there was a changing of the guard from men into the 4th generation of all women. And what was also happening at that time in the market is the heavy red Shiraz wines that all the guys were, really into and were selling. It was losing popularity and it was losing market share. So there was a really interesting thing happening at the time where it was a changing of the guard from the men to the women, and they were struggling for market share and needed a new product. So I met the girls, I met the winery, and I said, is there a new wine that you're interested in making? Is there a film is there a story we can tell here? And they said, yeah, we need to gain share against seltzers, craft beers, and rosé. And we have a wine that we own the patent to called Tarango, which is like a sultana designed for the hot climate in Australia, and it's a chilled light red, okay? So a lower calorie, lower alcohol, and sits in the fridge next to rosé, and no one else can do it. So I said, why don't we make a film? Why don't we film for an entire year from when you plant the grapes to when you try to market it and get it in store? And no matter the outcome, I'll document it, and we'll see what happens. And if we tell the truth, the customers and the public will connect with you as a business, with you as new leaders, and they'll buy into the product. And so we set out on this journey for a year, and it was interesting because as we got in, a lot of family members came out and now wanted to be in front of the camera, and they wanted to tell their story, and it was this real Succession. I don't know if you guys watch Succession on HBO, but they're a huge winery. And it became very interesting with all the big personalities coming out, all the old guys, because the women were taking over. And in the end, there was a lot of trials and tribulations and hurdles, and they tried to market the product, try to get it in store. In the end, they got the approval of the family, which was the first most important thing. They got distribution nationwide from all their retailers in the country. And the weekend we aired the film was the weekend it hit stores. We aligned the premiere date. We partnered with Fox in Australia. We had a primetime slot, and they sold out that day. And the store ordered 30,000 extra bottles the next day, and now they're starting to distribute through China and Korea and Japan. I think they'll come to North America. And we called the film Next in Wine and Survival in Succession. I had to play into the Succession part of it, but it was really good. And I wish the women were here so you could meet them. I'm only the guy that made it, but big hand to all the women involved, and thank you. Thank you for a great event.
So tall. Shannon and I, we started writing this at a time in our lives when it felt like everything was falling apart. And as we wrote it, it kept falling apart. Then some things started to fall together, like our incredible team of collaborators. And a filmmaker, director extraordinaire, Melanie Renfro. I'm a terrible whistler. She saw the vision even more clearly than we did at times, and a producing team, James Renfro, who also masterfully edited this baby, and Peter Byrne, Noah Hoagland, Kelly Roberts, York Fryer, David Gellin, who moved mountains, and a cast and crew made up of the most gorgeous people inside and out, talking to you, Jay Keeman. And the day before we rolled camera, Roe v. Wade was reversed in the Supreme Court, and we knew that what we were saying was more important than ever. So we wanted to know, what happens when you start eliminating everyone's choices. And hopefully behind some really pretty dark humor on the countdown, it has us all start talking, or it has us talking about that, or at least start talking. And so thank you all so much for recognizing the countdown and the incredible Shannon McLemore, who I could not have done any of this without. She's a genius.
I wanted to be here really bad, by the way, but she's shooting right now. So I do want to thank Wilson Creek, and of course I want to thank you, Wendy, and the festival for watching the film and choosing us. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's a romantic film. It looks like a Hallmark card a little bit, right? But it's actually, it's about how people are messed up. Right? It's two people, no one's perfect, everybody has problems. If you're gonna be with somebody, you're gonna have to deal with some stuff, right? If you wanna make it work. So to me, this movie's really about, if you're gonna be with somebody, just being really flexible, because they're gonna have some issues, they're gonna be a certain way, right? So, I would like to thank my significant other too for dealing with an actor for so many years. But yeah, anything is possible if you love someone, if you're together right now in this moment with somebody else, the future's still there, right? Anything is possible. So make your dreams come true if you're willing to work with that individual, and if you love them, do whatever works in your heart, make it happen, make whatever you want real. Thank you.
The crew, right? Writing this song, this was the umbrella song to the whole album. And after having the whole experience of going into the prisons and walking through the clanging gates and the barbed wire and meeting the guys that were all in for life, they had big things, or walking in and to do workshops with 25 refugee teenagers, and